Spiritual healing in the Parashat Vayetze. So now we've entered the darkening winter period. During the months of Kislev, we're going to reach the shortest day. And as we do, we seek the inner light when everything on the outside is kind of dark. For that, we need to focus our attention inward to open the curtain layers of our soul. And we know there's a dark spark inside. It's just like, how do I tap into it? How do I connect with this light that's hidden inside of all the doorways? In synchrony with the sense of Kislev that we just entered, this week's Parasha initiates a series of Parashiot that centers around dreams. And dreams are doorways to uncover our innermost thoughts, our fears and our aspirations, as it says in the Talmud. And even though sleep is 1/60th of death, it's well known that dreams are 1/60th of prophecy. So when we pay attention to our dreams, we have the ability to break through the layers of our psyche and tune into our inner core. When we engage in dream work, we may reveal inner aspects of ourselves that have not yet congealed in the surface of our consciousness. There was once an 8-year-old boy asking his father, "Are we alive and real, or are we only part of God's dream?" The father didn't know who to ask, so he asked Rav Shlomo Carlebach, who answered him, "Tell your son, we are truly alive in God's dream." When we look deeply inside, we can tune into God's dream. And this is what Yaakov discovered. But how can we tap into our aliveness in God's? How can tapping into our aliveness in God's dream illuminate our lives? So the first thing we have to do is let go of knowing. In order to really know Hashem, we need to detach ourselves from the analytic faculties of knowing that we learned from eating from the tree of knowledge. This is what we have to detach from. Like Rav Shlomo Carlebach used to say, what do we know? What do we know? What do we know? Just as when falling asleep, we need to tune down the volume of our external consciousness to tune into Hashem's light within. To know something you don't know, what do you have to do? You have to go through the process of not knowing. Yaakov's most prophetic dream brought him to this place of not knowing. As he said, it says, Vikat Yaakov Mishnato, Yaakov awoke from his dream, Vayomer, and he said, Achen yesh Hashem b'makom hazeh. Indeed, Hashem is in this place. Ve'anochi lo yadati, but I did not know it. I knew it not. What was it that Yaakov didn't know? He exclaimed, I didn't know. It was a holy place. Had I known, I wouldn't have slept there, says Rashi. But ironically, it was through the dreams that he had when he was sleeping there that he came to know something he didn't know. When we recognize, I didn't know, that's the moment that we begin to know. When we feel ignorant, we finally start to know. So we must learn not to fear letting go of knowing in order to really know. It's like allowing ourselves to experience lifting our foot from the lower rung of a ladder before we place it firmly on the next rung. So we know that Yaakov slept and he had a dream of a ladder that it was positioned on the ground and it reached heavens, and the angels of God were ascending and descending upon it. And then Hashem was standing over him. Now, usually we understand the Hebrew where it says the angels were of God were olim ve'yorudim po. They were ascending and descending in it. Usually we understand that to mean the ladder, but the Midrash says that it can also mean, po can also mean in him. And so that's what the Midrash says. They ascended and descended in Yaakov, these angels. Everything was taking place inside of Yaakov, in his consciousness. So the inner relationship between God and the world is not merely as a relationship between the creator of the creator, but rather a link between the surface level of reality and the depths of reality. God is the term employed to describe the underlying structures of all existence, including human existence. A relationship with God means a relationship with our own inner core, with the reality of our reality. Alienation from God means alienation from the depths of the self. We are a ladder, says Fatimet, and within this ladder of that we are, is we could find our own inner neshama, apart of God from above. This is what it means, and God was standing upon him. So dreams are internal. We cannot express Torah unless we first find ourselves, because Torah is about tapping into the essence of what we are and where we are from and how it all connects. We must develop the ability to see Torah within ourselves, learning to look within and see how we're connected to Torah. Only from that source can we bring Torah into the world. Although intellectual analysis is clearly necessary and part of the thinking process, it is absolutely fundamental that our Torah derives from the divine within us. It is only when we can connect to the essence of ourselves that we're capable of bringing true Torah into the world. So this is what we're working on doing in spiritual healing, to break through the exterior layers that separates us from our own divine essence, so that we can look within and connect and reveal our innermost point, our inner spark, which is Hashem, which our neshama knows exactly what we need in order to be 100% healthy and fulfill our mission in the world. But we're entrenched in our body and in the physical world. We're so entrenched that we often are unable to tap into the buried treasure of our soul. So we're going to do a short spiritual healing exercise, or maybe it's more like a guided meditation, to help us get in touch with our high neshama and access Hashem's light within. The metaphor of Yaakov's ladder symbolizes connection, linking us to God, earth, to heaven, matter below, to spirit above. There's many different levels of consciousness that exist between us and our divine self. Each rung on the ladder represents a gradual ascent, whereby we can earn wisdom and perfection one step at a time. As the ladder has no moving parts, it symbolizes ascension by way of personal desire and effort. The ladder also reminds us that reaching the highest realm of consciousness it's not a short, swift journey. Yet keep in mind that no journey is without its rest and pauses. Whenever we require a respite during our spiritual ascent, the rungs of the ladder provide us with the support and strength we need. until we're ready to take our next step upwards. EmunaHealing exercise to climb your inner ladder. Sit comfortably in your chair, close your eyes, take several deep breaths, and let go of anything you may be holding on to. Breathe in Hashem's life-giving energy. Breathe out tensions, negativity, and worry. Imagine in your mind's eye a ladder. Try to visualize its shape and color. Is it a small indoor ladder or a larger gardening ladder? Is it made from wood, metal, or another material? What is its color? Perhaps it has more than one color. How many rungs does it have? Now imagine yourself standing at the bottom of this ladder. Which difficulties and fears makes it hard for you to take the first step to ascend the ladder? Perhaps it's negative habits, addictions, lashon hara, mitzvot that are difficult for you. Try to identify these blocks and then allow yourself to connect with the light of Hashem, which always comes down from above. Open yourself to bring Hashem's light into all of your negative actions in order to melt them away. Then take the first step to the first rung of the ladder. Now look up at the second rung. What blocks you from taking your next step? Which negative emotions are you struggling with? Anger, worry, fears, and doubts. Focus on bringing Hashem's light into all your negative emotions and melt them away. See if you feel like taking another step onto the next rung on the ladder. Otherwise, just remain on the second rung and imagine Hashem's light within you. Our body is continually filled with Hashem's light and love. Even when we don't see it or feel it, we know that we're permeated with divine light. From your place on the ladder, send Hashem's light and love to the person sitting to your left. If you're not meditating in a group setting, just send light to anyone. Imagine that you receive this light from the person sitting to your right, and then send it further to the person at your left. This light will continue to move around in a circle through everyone around this table. When meditating alone, imagine receiving light from anyone. After about 1 to 5 minutes of this exercise, slowly go down each of the rungs of the ladder until you reach the ground. Take a few deep breaths and release your arms and legs, and then open your eyes.